poor man's way of doing a bash script. When I say poor man's way, if I wanted to make this an official, then what I would want to do is I would want to go in here and put hash bang, then bash, and then I would want to, that would make it an official script. But the beauty part about bash scripts are, if every command that you put on one line, it'll do each one of those back to back. It's the same as if I put ampersand, ampersand in between each one. It's going to run that command, and then it's going to drop a line when that command's done, and it's going to run the next one. It's going to drop that command, and it's going to run. So. Okay, so that's literally, when you're doing this for the first time, the very first time you run it, it doesn't matter when you get the ISO. If you pulled the ISO off the website today, it's probably still going to have 300 updates today. So that's the first two things I do. I create my script, I change my sources, and then I update the crap out of it. And then I let it run for the first time. You're probably talking, depending on how fast your machine is, anywhere from an hour to 4 hours.
And then save your VM.
Huh?
And then save your VM. Take a snapshot of your VM, so you don't have to do it again next time.
Yeah, if you're doing this on a VM, save a snapshot. If you're using ZFS, you can save a snapshot. I don't know how. That's one thing I want to learn. So, the other thing you can do is, once you've updated everything, and it's completely updated, you've taken your snapshot, then the next thing that I do, depending on what it is, I go in and let me find the one. These are, if you go to the tools meta packages, you can actually run, if I remember correctly, this is the one that runs on your system. So when you do an ISO, it's, unless you have the minimal, which you can download, it's going to run the default. So this is everything that you're going to have on it. All the Kali tools. I know. Anyway, but we want to make sure that we have everything. What you can do is you can type in so if I went here and typed, oops, if I went here and typed apt install Kali Linux all, it is going to give me every tool known to man in the repository, and it's going to take about, I think the last time I did it on this machine, it took like 4.5 hours. But you're going to have everything. The only thing that you're going to have to put on after that is anything that you find on GitHub, like cheat or anything like that.
How do you do the terminator? Is it apt-get terminator?
Okay, so hold on.
Oh, sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
No. So if you want to install everything, just do the Linux install all, or install Kali Linux all. So if you wanted to search on something, apt search terminator, and it's going to give you a nice little list of everything that's in the cache, right? So we want to do.
And that was, I'm sorry, what was that again? Apt search,
and whatever you're wanting to search for. So it It could be Apache. Okay? It could be whatever you wanted it to be. So, once you find out that it's there, and that you spelled it right, to install it, all you have to do is, if you spell it correctly, go back to the search, hit Control W to get rid of it, and type install. If I can type it correctly. And then hit enter, and it'll install it for you. Now, if I hit it, it's going to say it's already the newest version. That's one way to know if it's on your system or not. Okay?
When you get rid of stuff, do you parse or purge?
I don't do anything.
Okay.
When I remove it, if I remove something, I usually do purge. Now, that's the other two things that there is an apt cache clean that you can do. If you're having issues with your apt cache, meaning it's having weird issues trying to install something, then first thing you should do is clean your apt cache and then update again. That'll pull fresh update.
Okay.
Those, you know how I was telling you that I found where someone actually had gone in and made an alias for app updater, and it did these 6 things.
Yeah.
The other 6 things are cleaning the cache, and I just don't do that. I don't have an issue with it very often. Now, in doing VMs, I have found that after about 2 to 3 years of playing with this the way that we do in class, I usually have to rebuild it. So, and it does, like the one that I had, I passed it off
2
so
to
many
3
times.
years. Mine's like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, if you're rebuilding it in 2 to 3 weeks, something's wrong. Although I have figured out what you're doing wrong with your VirtualBox, why it keeps crashing on you.
Is it the antivirus you were telling us about?
No, it's a driver issue.
Oh.
So what happens is, on Windows, because I started noticing this the other day, on Windows, if you go, should not be unplugged, but I plugged it anyway. So if you go and Windows will automatically update the drivers on. As it does that, you can't, it screws up your VirtualBox, right? So, Kurt, I'm going to stop presenting for a second, and I'm going to try and show just one screen. Let me know if this gets wonky. Okay, so. Actually, I'm just going to do one screen. So, you should see the VirtualBox manager. Now, if I'm having issues, and this only works in Windows, right? If I'm having issues and I can't, it's giving me a weird, funky error every time I try and start it. It says, you can't do it.
Yeah.
Then come up here to the drop down and hit headless start. It takes the graphics side of it completely out of it.
Okay.
It kicks off once you see it show up, a thumbnail show up here in this window, then this start will change to show.
Oh.
Just hit show, you're off and running again. And
Do you have to do that every time, or it just fixes it?
It does it for about 3 times, and then I'm back. Don't ask me why, but I do it at least once a week. And that's it. So try it on Windows.
Yeah.
Next time you have an issue.
Because right now it's asking me to update, and I don't like to update because I get these issues.
Yeah, no, update it. Now, that's after updating both VirtualBox and
Yeah.
Windows, everything.
Okay.
Now, try that, and I bet you it'll fix it.
Okay.
So,
Good workaround.
okay. Go back to,
Is there a preference on where you put your application folder and your scripts folder? You typically put it in the home directory or all the way to the main root of it, or is there a difference?
I was actually just getting ready to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, you should be seeing my Cali box again. Okay, so the question was, I don't know if you heard it or not. The question is, where do I put my scripts and applications folder? Now, what I do, Kurt, is when I go to do, and for some reason I don't have it on here, that's odd. I usually create an applications folder if I'm going to do a GitHub repository. So here's what here's how I normally roll. I have a scripts folder, and that's just in my home directory, right? I don't go outside of it.
So that's not where the dev and
Nope. And the quick way to get back to your home directory, no matter what user you're in, just hit CD and it takes you right there. Okay? So if I'm going to do an application, here you can see there's nothing in it. And we're going to pick, I'm trying to think of something that, GitHub. Sniffer security cheat sheets. Okay, so I want to, any of these GitHub things that I go and get cloned, I have it in my applications folder. You can call it whatever you want to call it. And I'm just showing you as an example, this is what I normally would have, right? On my old one, I had probably 15 in there. I just haven't converted and done that on here yet.
So you manually created a folder called security cheat sheet?
Nope, it does it for you. Get clone does all that for you. If you look, it says cloning into security cheat sheets. Now, I can change that name. If I go to get clone, and then I wanted to put my other name, then it clones it into whatever. If I put a space after the get link and then put another name, that could be another directory. I can put everything in opt, right? Because if you do discover, it's going to put everything. He wants you to put it in opt. Discover. Okay. So now I have 2 Git repos. I'm just going to get rid of that one.
We start out star.
Start again. What is it? Production roulette.
No comment.
So there are 2 websites.
After you get cheat sheets, not get.
It's get clone.
No, I mean, after the whole thing.
Oh, whatever you want.
So
The name that
you don't put anything, it does whatever the default.
It does the default name, right? And what get clone does, because I've already moved off the page. So if you are creating your own Git repository that you want to save to GitHub or GitLab or insert Git clone here, then you would have to have a place that you will go and you will create a directory and you'll put git init, I-N-I-T, which stands for initialize a Git repo at this location. Now, what that does is it puts ls-al. It puts a .git folder in there. There's some other things that it does inside the Git, but it sets it up so that you can now, if I'm creating a fresh one and I wanted to put it into GitHub, then I could commit and save everything up, right? I can push it and do all that stuff. What this does is I now clone that. I have a link back to that repo, and when they update that repo, I can actually get more info and update it when they update theirs, right? I could go in and create my own, and then I would create what's called a pull request from my repo that they would look at and go, oh, yeah, we like this cheat sheet, so we're going to add it to ours as well. And then they would pull it from you and yada, yada, yada. So, but that's the other thing. Git normally comes installed when you install Kali, and most Linux distros default out of the box. If it doesn't, it's just an apt install Git, and that's all you gotta do. So, the next thing that we're going to do